Hi there, my name is natekokernot. Welcome to my channel. As one dives more deeply into A Course in Miracles, they begin to understand that Jesus is asking us to let go of this small mythical me identity, which is otherwise known as the ego thought system. A quick reminder that the ego thought system is one that rests on the foundation that I am separate from everything else. Jesus is saying, no, you're not separate from everything else. And if you turn to the metaphysics of the Course, he's saying that you are the creator of the world that you see. To put that into simple psychological terms, you're projecting the world you see. So all the figures in your world are your projections, and you have constructed the meaning of them yourself. This person is my friend and ally, while that person is my sworn enemy, for instance. Those are both just constructs of your mind that were caused by the mistaken assumption that we could judge anything correctly. If everything and everyone you see is a projection of your own unconscious mind, then it makes sense that by judging them, you are really only judging yourself. The question that you might be asking yourself at this point, the question that I want to address with this video, is this. Does A Course in Miracles value the individual as special in any way? Or are we just supposed to deny our individual identity completely? The answer that I'll give you today about this will hopefully cause you to sigh with relief. This also pertains to the lesson of my last video, to have, give all to all, as you shall hopefully see soon. Here is a passage from the text to set the table. Quote, "Your false idea about your own exclusion from universal love is both fallacious and arrogant. Your real specialness does not stem from exclusion, but from inclusion. All my brothers are special. You should stop interpreting this as, quote, all except me. This is ridiculous. The implied lack of love that this version contains is way off the mark and misses the level of right thinking entirely." End quote. And here's the feast that comes once the table is set. Quote, "You are a miracle. God creates only that which or one who is of surpassing excellence or merit." A dictionary definition of miracles. You are capable of this kind of creation too, being in the image and likeness of your own Creator. Anything else is only your own nightmare and does not exist. Only the creations of light are real. You are wholly lovely, a perfect shaft of pure light. Before your loveliness, the stars stand transfixed and bow to the power of your will. What do children know of their creation except what their Creator tells them? You were created above the angels because your role involves creation as well as protection. You who are in the image of the Father need bow only to Him, before whom I kneel with you." End quote. This is the version of you that Jesus wants you to accept, so that you can come into your power, which God gave you by creating you in His image. You are one aspect of the everything. You are a brilliant shaft of light, unlike all the other shafts of light. The whole of creation would be incomplete without you. You, like myself, have special gifts, traits, and attributes which you might want to learn to recognize, because the phrase, to have, give all to all, will leave you puzzled and probably feeling deficient until you recognize what these special attributes you have to give. To have, give all to all is not about money and resources, unless, of course, you have a lot of excess money and resources. But what it really means is that you are in possession of a constellation of traits and skills that doesn't look exactly like any other. And those are what you're meant to share with all of us. Just to use myself as an example, I have come to recognize that I have strong intuition about the nature of emotions, which allows me to hold grace for my own emotions and also towards other people's emotional outbursts. I also have quite an intuitive mind in terms of a fondness for connecting dots and seeing patterns in things that come from different thought disciplines, like quantum physics, mathematics, history, psychology, as well as spiritual ideas. I also see dots to connect between the various spiritual paths that allows me to see that they all agree with each other far more than they disagree, and that the disagreements between different spiritual traditions are all quite trivial and worth overlooking. I have an open-mindedness that I value very much as a result of this. And so these things are my contribution to the healing of the world, at least as I see it. When I share these ideas, I'm not giving them away, but rather I'm strengthening them in myself by sharing them. I'm making my own belief in them more solid. I also have a deep desire to comfort and nurture others, which doesn't come out here in these videos so much, since I have no idea of the others that I'm speaking to here. But it does come out when I put my therapy hat on. And when I'm doing therapy, I'm not reading from a, what is this called? Transcript, or you know what I'm talking about. It allows me to hold space for others and be witness to their struggles without always feeling compelled to correct them. I tend to want to meet people where they're at and see if I can nudge them a little further down the path towards healing. It wasn't until I dove deeper into my astrology and realized that I have Cancer ascending in my natal chart, and only then did I understand why this nurturing instinct exists within me in the first place. So keep in mind that to have, give all to all, still recognizes that you can only give what you have in your possession. Trying to give what you don't have will likely leave you experiencing scarcity and believing that giving to others requires sacrifice. And then there is the false humility that will likely prevent you from just being you as a result of you believing that you're not good enough to teach. The best way to teach is simply to demonstrate, rather than getting up on your soapbox like I'm doing. But getting up on the soapbox is acceptable behavior, so long as you are living in alignment with what you are teaching, meaning you're demonstrating it as well as teaching it, or you are walking your talk. One of the ways that I work with people to ascertain what their special gifts and talents are is through the MBTI personality typing framework. This framework was created by Myers and Briggs, the M and the B in MBTI, and they based it on Carl Jung's theory of cognitive functions. At some point in the future, I'll dive into that framework more deeply here on this channel to help you understand its usefulness. For now, I'll just say that since the pseudoscientific modality of psychology came along, there have been very few individuals within it with intuitions that cause greater advances in our understanding of the unconscious mind than Carl Jung's. So to me, everything he touches turns to gold. It was he that coined the term collective unconscious, because he recognized that so many of the symbols and archetypes, as he refers to them, are shared in common. These symbols come forth both in our dreams, which pour out of the unconscious mind every night, and in the various spiritual stories. Long before the various cultures where these various mythologies were imagined ever came into contact with one another, they had shared symbology embedded in them. That revelation was what caused him to accept that there is a collective unconscious. Joseph Campbell, a brilliant mythologist in the Jungian sense, did more than anyone to advance the concept of the collective unconscious, and that is clearly a nice piece of evidence that we all do indeed share one mind. When Jung introduced his 8 cognitive functions, he also clarified that every one of us is a unique expression of their type, so it's not meant to entirely box you in. So yes, there is space for celebrating your individuality in A Course in Miracles. But it's important to understand that discovering your unique abilities is all for the sake of knowing what you have to give to the world, to come to know what your special function here is. Quote, "Such is the Holy Spirit's kind perception of specialness, his use of what you made to heal instead of harm. To each he gives a special function in salvation he alone can fill, a part of only him or her. Nor is the plan complete until he finds his special function and fulfills the part assigned to him, to make himself complete within a world where incompletion rules. Here, where the laws of God do not prevail in perfect form, can he yet do one perfect thing and make one perfect choice. And by this act of special faithfulness to one perceived as other than himself, he learns the gift was given to himself, so that they must be one. End quote. It's not egoic in that sense, because the purpose is to contribute to our collective healing. I hope that all makes sense, and please leave a comment or a question below if you want me to clarify anything. I hope your day is filled with blessings and miracles, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.